Today we will discuss about all the telephonic interview questions based on this company. One of the company they ask some of the telephonic interview questions. What all are? I collected this one based on that. Also, I collected the answers also for that. The first questions which they ask: what is the difference between a string buffer, a string, and a string builder in Java? So why we are using a string buffer and builder, when to use, in which scenario you used in a string buffer and a string builders. So this is the answers which we have. A string is a immutable, while both a string buffer and builder is mutable, which means any changes converting a string to upper case or trimming white space without any other instance rather than changing the same instance. Later to a string buffer is a synchronized and a string builder is not a synchronized. In fact, it ditto replacement of a string buffer added in Java 1.5 version. So this is the difference which I have. And then the second thing is second question: difference between extend thread versus implement runnable in Java. So when to use by using extend the thread, and what while we use any class or interface, when to use implement a runnable. So for which scenario we will go for the extend thread, for which scenario we will go for the runnable. So this is the answers which I have collected. And the other questions which I have, like what is the difference between runnable and callable interface. So in Java we have two questions based on this interface, runnable and callable. So when to use runnable and when to use callable. And after that they ask one of the interview questions which is related for array list, linked list. So what is difference between array list and linked list in Java? When to use array list, when to use linked list. So for which scenario we'll go for the linked list, what are the advantage, disadvantage and all. And yeah, after that the other questions which I have collected, this is what is the difference between wait and notify in Java. So while you are working on this thread, so you have must used wait and notify. So you must use these two things. So when to use wait, when to use notify and all. And after that, difference between hash map and hash table. So in collection we have a hash map and hash table. So when to use hash map, when to use hash tables and all. And then tree set, what is the difference between tree set and tree map? What are the advantages, when we will go for that? Have you used in your real project tree set and tree map? So for which scenario you implemented like that? These questions as asked. And then what? Write a program to print Fibonacci series. So that Fibonacci series we have options like how we will create. So can you dry run this program while you are creating any logical program for this? So like that they ask. And other questions also: can you write a program to check the number is prime or not? So how you will write, and what are the ways to create a prime numbers, and do the dry run, execute in the compiler, either online compiler or whatever there's any code tools you are using for that. And then how to swap two numbers without using third or temp variable. So you need to swap these two numbers by using without any temp variables and all. So how to check if linked list contain loop in Java? What are the ways to check linked list contain loop in Java? So this is the way which I have collected this. By using this way we can check the linked list contain loop in Java. So mostly this all are asked for this telephonic where the interview has asked one of the questions. These all questions I collected, whatever I understand and remind the same I have collected this interview answers, also appropriate answers which will be for the questions. And this write a Java program to reverse a string without API, without using API. So if you want to reverse a string, what are the way to do this? So write a Java program to reverse a string. Then difference between serializable and externalizable. So this is the confusing thing, like what is serializable and what is externalizable. So when to use and for which scenario have you implemented in your projects. And after that we have a transient and volatile. So when to use transient, what is volatile, which Java version has introduced transient and volatile, where to use transient, like that. Have you used your in your project in transient somewhere? So mostly we are using, but where you have to tell them. So this is the answers where you can go through these answers. And then difference between abstract class and interface, which is the common interview questions which will be asked for the interviewer, any of the interview. What is the difference between abstract and interface class, interface and abstract class? So when to use and what are the scenarios you will go for the interface, and what are the scenario you will go for the abstract class. Then this is also most important common interview questions, like difference between associate and composition aggregations. So what is association, what is composition, what is aggregation, when to use this, so for which patterns or where you used this one. So what is the have you used, they will ask, have you used any file input stream, file readers and all. So while you are writing any schedulers and all, or any batch related things in your project, or like report generating and all, in that cases mostly we will use a file input handler, file reader and all. So have you used and where you implemented file input in stream, file reader and all. So that type of things will be asked. And how you will convert byte to character in Java. So what are the ways to convert a byte to character? Can we have a return statement in finally clause? What will happen? If yes, then what will happen? If you have a return statement in finally clause, so what will happen? So that type of questions will check your theoretical things, where are you able to understand or not, or where you used. So based on that, programmatical and logical also this will be asked, some of the internal things from the coding style. So can you override a static method in Java? So if you will be override, yes. If how? If not, then how? Why not? So no, we cannot override a static method. So if you want to go for this answer, so this is the appropriate answers where a static method can't be override. So directly we can say, but if they ask some of the reason, so this is the answers of best appropriate answers. And difference between private, public, package and protected in Java. So these all are the modifier, access modifier and all. So when to use private, when to use public, when to use protected and all. So this one. And after that, like 5 coding best practice you learn in Java, like what all are the suppose if you are doing some coding, so what are the 5 practice which you learn from the Java, where you always named of thread, use a string builder, specify some collections, always declare a private final, like this, create a code interface instead of implementations, dependency to the method instead of to get themselves, like that. So these all are the way where we can create a best practice to learn or code in Java while you are writing any applications. In that time, what are the things you have learned or do the best practice to coding and all. So these things they will ask. Apart from this, we have again some of the programmatical questions. What, write a program to find maximum and minimum number in array. Suppose if you are using array, or they want to check your logical questions, so what is the maximum and minimum number in array? Write a program to reverse array in place. So write a program to reverse array in place. So how you will do that and all. And after that, write a program to reverse the array in Java. Write a program to reverse array in Java. So this way we can do that. And again we have some of the programmatical questions only. After reversing the array in Java, then we have others program, like these all are the programmatical questions which are asked in the interview questions, so which will be text to your logical and coming coding styles. So write a program to calculate factorial in Java. What is the difference between calling a start run method? So if you are using any thread in your applications where we have like a thread lifecycle will execute, then what is the difference while we are calling a start and run? What is this? When to use a start, when to use run, like this. So these things will be asked, and apart from this we have other questions which is related for program. So write a program to solve producer consumer problem. So when you have used these things, either which technology or which terminology you used for producer consumer, how you solve this thing. So producer consumers, we have multiple things are there, either messaging we have or any other communication of thread we will use this. So depends on this interviewer, you can give the appropriate answers, but here is asking for this thread related, so we'll consider this answer. And then how to find a middle element of linked list in one page. How to find middle element of linked list in one page. So this type of questions also will ask grammatical questions which will need to be executed on your online compiler or offline tools, where you need to find the middle element from the linked list. So what are the ways and how we will do that. And others we have a what is equals and hash code method contract in Java. So we have a two method in that, equals and hash code. So what are the contract between both? So what does it use and all. So internally we have what are the methods inside that they have, or maybe what are the contracts inside that, so that we can check in this equals and hash code method. And after that we'll have a what is why we use wait and notify, when to use wait, when to use notify, what are the ways of difference between wait, notify and notify all. So these all are related for thread. So they will ask like why wait or notify method are declared in object class. So the detailed answer is given here, so if you want you can go through these also answers. So the another questions we have like what does hash set work. So what hash set internally work, or how we can use hash set, when to use hash sets and all. Apart from this, like others questions which I have, like what is the difference between synchronized and concurrent collections in Java. So this is a very important questions which will be asked for all the interviewer in the different companies and all. So I suffered many of the interviewer ask these same questions: concurrent hash map, concurrent collections, and synchronizations and all. What is the difference between iterator and enumerator? So this is the part of collections in Java. So this is the difference. And when to use overloading, when to use overriding, where you used, what are the ways to use. And then other question, what is static dynamic binding, static binding, dynamic binding, when to use static, when to use dynamic. And difference between compatible and comparator, which need to be used for the customized sorting or default sorting. So where to use compatible, where to use comparator and all. Or how do you sort array list in descending order. So this will be the programmatical questions which will be asked, how to sort array list in descending order. So either someone will ask for ascending order, some will ask for descending order, or maybe some other. So what is the difference between class path and class path? So this way also we have to found like how, what are the path and class path and all. And other questions we have like what is the difference between checked and unchecked exception, when to use checked exception, when to use unchecked exceptions and all. So like that we can consider. So these all are the interview questions which will have based on the Java. And these things based on the solutions also you can go through if you want. And yeah, so these all are related for this basic conceptual questions related for telephonic interview question, which has asked for the multiple interviewer and different companies. So I have collected this also, and I supposed to give you this. Yeah. overview for these all questions. And if you want for this answer, so you can go through this answer. If you want, I'll attach this our GitHub code, so there you can download this page, and directly you can go through this. So we have GitHub link there. We will attach all the interview questions, whatever we are discussing on daily basis. We will attach this one. If you want, you can download from there itself. We have a GitHub link in our descriptions button also, in descriptions, so that you can download from there itself. Yeah, so that's it from my side. We will discuss tomorrow from the next interview questions. Yeah, related for Spring Boot, microservice, Java, AWS, and all, Kafka, and all. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for that. Please subscribe my channel, and do let me know what type of next topic or next interview questions you want, so that we will try for that. Thank you.